Everyone wants their life to be a little simpler, right? And as nerds, it's only natural that we turn to things like smartifying and automating our homes to do so. Computer, make the kitchen red. Huh? But even if you and I might enjoy tinkering continuously, our families, they don't always share the same interests.
Honey, the smart bidet won't stop spraying me.
Sorry. And frankly, as life has gotten busier running my own YouTube channel, it's about time that I make my house smart in ways that just work, rather than making my house, into work. Fortunately, with the help of Homey, who sponsored this video, and their new self-hosted server, we're gonna automate all the new smart home devices we install today with a smart home platform anyone can understand, running on hardware I already own. And best of all that new hardware we're gonna install is geared toward folks who rent, like me, which means it's easy to install and easy to reverse, even if you do own your home. But before you actually buy anything, you gotta ask yourself, why am I making my home smart? Maybe it's because you want dank RGB lighting everywhere. Or maybe it's because you want to open your garage with your phone. For me, I'm focusing on the quality of life stuff. Automating repetitive things like watering plants and monitoring air quality, as well as improving my house's efficiency, like turning stuff off when it's not in use. For starters, I recently put up these curtains. Lovely, right? It's just that almost every night I forget to close the blinds now because I can't see them. So right as I'm falling asleep, I have to get up and do that. Or I end up getting flashbanged by the sun at 5 in the morning and can't fall back asleep. So smart blinds are definitely something we're investing in. Then there's the bathroom. In my perfect world, it'd be great if you walked in and the fan and light would turn on. But the motion sensor I plopped in here doesn't work when you're in the shower. And if I go for a midnight whiz, again, flashbang. So a humidity sensor, and ideally a way to dim the lights, would be huge. We haven't even left my bedroom and there's already some massive quality of life improvements, but it's also where things start to get a bit overwhelming. There's gotta be a dozen different smart home communication standards and ecosystems. Like, how do you decide what to get? You wouldn't want to go all in and replace every light switch in your house just to find out they don't work as you expect, right? Right. Regardless of what products or ecosystem you go for, the core of your smart home is always going to be the hub. It's usually a small computer kind of like this one, with a radio attached to it to support whatever smart home standard it's built for. Which is why, if you're getting started, literally this one or the Homey Pro Mini are both much better options since they support virtually all the major smart home standards. So you don't have to worry if your switch is Zigbee and your light bulb is Z-Wave, maybe even at the same time, because it can do either. Except I already have the computer part. Here's my 45 drive Storinator NAS. It's sick. I've even got a few Zigbee devices already running on it with this cheapo Sonoff Zigbee dongle. I guess they were running on it until I unplugged it, and Home Assistant. So I was far more interested in Homey's new self-hosted server option. It's all the brains and ease of use you get with Homey's software, but running on your own hardware. And they even sell lifetime licenses, so you have the option to have no monthly fee for a bit upfront, even for cloud features like integrating with Google Home or the Amazon equivalent, which I'm not gonna say the name of. But Jake, you already have Home Assistant. Yeah, I do. And it's great. And to be frank, I'm still gonna use Home Assistant, just in addition to Homey. With their wonderful integration from the Homey App Store, you can run both at the same time. I'll have Homey for the stuff I just need to work and be my day-to-day, easy-to-use system, and then I'll have Home Assistant for the more complicated stuff or if I'm just tinkering. It's the best of both worlds. To install it on my TrueNAS NAS, they have some actually lovely instructions that we can just copy-paste/follow, and then click install. Homey Self Hosted Server is ready to be activated. Let's go. Then open up the Homey app on our phone. Add new Homey. Hey, look at that. Easy. Please wait while the self-hosted server is being activated. Welcome home. Don't worry, no house is too crazy for Homey. Large family home, villa, mansion, or yacht. Nope, it's just a townhouse, thanks. Select the rooms on your ground floor. What the heck, Homey? Where's the data center option? I'm gonna put the toilet. That's cool though. You can have it start automations, which Homey calls flows, when you come home, or you can create them to save energy. So say like you have Homey installed on all your phones, when nobody is home, make sure the lights are turned off. And there we go, setting up. Easy. If you don't have a true NAS, you can also install Homey Self Hosted Server on QNAP systems, Synology systems, anywhere that supports Docker. They just have a Docker Compose setup, or on a Windows or Mac OS system with just their desktop apps. So if you just want to try it out, which you can do with a 30-day free trial that doesn't require a credit card, thankfully, you can do that just on your computer. Super easy. Ah, yes, extend with Homey Bridge. What a perfect segue into us talking about how to integrate our actual smart devices. Now, since I've had a great experience with Zigbee already, that's what I'm going to be sticking with. And if you're going with the self-hosted Homey server route, the easiest way to get any Zigbee devices and a bunch of other protocols, does it even say on here? It doesn't, is with the Homey Bridge, which for $69 allows your self-hosted Homey server to talk to Zigbee, Z-Wave, Bluetooth, 433 megahertz, and infrared devices. Or if you go with the Homey Pro, which runs all of this because you don't have a NAS or you're lazy or whatever, this also works as a range extender. Look at that. It's cute. However, a few months ago, I stumbled upon this. It's this really cool device from a company called SM Lite. And what makes it so cool is the Ethernet port, because it's PoE powered, and I've been dying to play with it. So for one part of this project, we're going to take the hard route instead of the easy option, because when you plug in the Homey Bridge, it just links right up, and I want my life to be difficult. Woo! Not really. That's the whole point of this video, is making my life easier. So I got to include at least a little bit of pain in it, right? Not to say that it's hard to set up. It involves like multiple pieces of software, but we're gonna make them work anyways, okay? Once you've got it plugged in, you're gonna want to run some firmware updates because the one you got might have been super out of date. And then we need Zigbee to MQTT, which is kind of a big project, so it doesn't run directly within Homey Self Hosted Server. So we're gonna instead install it on TrueNAS, but you can install it anywhere that you have Docker running pretty easily. We've got Zigbee to MQTT. Topic, we'll call it Zigbee server. We can just copy this out of Homey. Password. Don't use that as your password. We'll make the user on Homey. And then we just need to copy the IP of our SM Lite adapter from the settings page here, paste that in there, and then change adapter to Ember. Ideally, you're gonna have set a static IP address in your router for this so it doesn't change. I'm assuming that if you are running a self-hosted server that you might know to do that. I don't even think I need to configure anything because it prompts you for it. Hey, and there we go. Zigbee to MQTT onboarding, found devices. Our baud rate is set right, network channel, we can just leave for now. Key, PAN ID, all that stuff is good. And there we go. Now, let's install some devices. Starting with the blinds, specifically this one right here directly outside of the bedroom, because I like to keep the door open at night because the cat likes to come in and out in the middle of the night because they're nocturnal and they like to mess around at night, especially this one. So in the morning, this shines directly into the bedroom and I want it to close until I am up and about. Just making sure we're staying safe out here. Weird. Do I even know how to get these off? Hello? What? Why did one side come off and not the other? Okay, whew. I got these blinds from a company called Smart Wings, and I chose them because they have a bunch of different options for the motor that goes inside of it. And something that's even more renter friendly is the fact that they sell solar panels, because it's battery powered. You can also hardwire them if you own your house and you want to run, DC wiring all over. They last like months depending on how much you use them, but now maybe they'll last forever. Okay, the size is a little bit different, but the brackets are basically the same in how they work. I might still be able to reuse the hole though. I mean, even if you made a new hole, is your landlord realistically gonna check behind the blinds? No. Oh my God, how long is this screw? And then you install it by clicking the front on first. Let it push it back. There you go. Arlo, what's that? You getting it? Scratchy, scratchy? He loves that cardboard thing. And it was like $20 on Amazon. It's the best cat scratcher I've ever bought. And then to join our Zigbee blind into the network on Zigbee to MQTT, we're just gonna click permit join. Hold this for 6 seconds, apparently. Oh, it adopted, look at that. Blind, supported natively. Enter the IP and port of our MQTT server that's running in Homey right there. And then the topic I set to Zigbee. Bridge, device found. And then we go new device, select Zigbee to MQTT, select device, connect. And there's our blind. I'm gonna make a zone called hallway. All right, and there we go. Now it's already like ready to operate. It works, the system works. It's such a small thing, but the quality of life improvement of not getting flashbanged at 5 in the morning by the sun, never again. It's not happening. But Jake, what the heck even is a zigbee? You haven't told us. Zigbee operates on the same 2.4 gigahertz frequency band as 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. But unlike Wi-Fi, Zigbee devices can sleep for potentially even hours between transmissions and operate at much lower speeds, since smart devices only need to send like really basic info, like, computer, shut off the set lamp.
Set lamp isn't responding.
Computer, turn off the set lights. Or Homey, it's 23 degrees in here. And better yet, it can send those messages at range, since Zigbee is a mesh network, so wall-powered routers, as they're called, can extend the range well beyond where your normal little hub guy could reach. It's really cool. Another thing that drives me crazy is bathroom fans, and in particular, my house in the, I guess, kind of spare bathroom, the only one that has a bathtub, the fan switch isn't in the bathroom. Instead, it's in the laundry closet across the hall. I guess because it's more so meant as like a ventilation fan that you would leave on. But I don't want to leave it on all the time, especially in the winter. Like my furnace has a fresh air intake. I don't need to just be sucking air out of the house all the time. And this is a really good application of a smart switch. Instead of me having to rewire this fan, I can just stick the smart switch on there and maybe replace the one in the bathroom for the light with a switch. And there you go. They can easily be linked together. But we're going to take it one step But we're going to take it one step further, not only by installing a motion sensor, but also a temperature and humidity sensor. That way, when the bathroom shower is going and it's getting nice and steamy, the shower fan can just turn on and then stay on until it's no longer hot and steamy. All automatically. This cat is hilarious. He'll jump down behind the dryer. See, like he's trying to go back there right now. Arlo. And then just get stuck back there all day. Well, I'm at work. Stop it. I guess I don't go to work anymore. Wait. Anytime you're working on the electrical in your house, probably just don't unless you know what you're doing. That's the worst that can happen. A little 120 volt shock. And B, check if the wires are live. You can use a multimeter. What does that say? 0 volts? Or the simple test is, does the thing still turn on? But that's not always foolproof. I'm gonna go shut off the breaker and then we'll put in our switch. This, from our friends at Innovelli, is their Blue Series Smart Fan Switch. And I guess the main difference between this and a normal smart switch is that it has control of the fan speed. Say you just want to have some passive circulation in your house, you could turn the fan on to a 20% or something like that. Nope! It turns out the variable speed control is more for like ceiling fans that have a low, medium, and a high, not for my really basic exhaust fan in the bathroom. Apparently there's also some smart fans that support it, but not this one. Oh, I broke it. That works. We've got our lovely Knipex pliers. Very good. Link in description. 12 gauge. Oh. Whew. Line in one hole, load in the other, and then Arlo, the neutral. We got like 20 more light switches to go. Did you do my boop? You just got booped. I'm gonna go turn the breaker on and see if it works. It works! To adopt it, same deal as before. We allow it, and then the top button and the config button until it goes red. I grab this in a really awkward way, and it's not very comfortable on my fingers, but I don't want to let go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you have to let go when it turns red. Okay. Hey, look at that. And then we hop back over to Homey. Where is this one? This is in second floor bathroom. And then we have our AQARA company. Akara. This little sensor doohickey is so little. Look at that. This is battery operated, which I honestly don't mind. Hey, there we go. Look at that. Oh man, this has just been going so well so far. Doesn't want me to jinx it by saying it's going too well. That's reasonable. And then I should probably stick it to something with the... Arlo, stop. What are you doing? He just stares you in the eye while he's doing it. Why? I should probably stick this to something, but I'm not going to do that because renting. Instead, I'm just going to stick it up here. I don't know how accurate this is, but we have readings so far. Apparently it's 27 degrees Celsius in here, and the humidity is 53%. I wonder if there's a firmware update for our light switch. There is one. 19 minutes. Oh, bloody hell. And we're going to do the same over here in the ensuite for the main bathroom. I've already installed a smart switch, but what I do have working in here already is a motion sensor. Problem is, if you're in the shower, the motion sensor I've got in here doesn't pick you up. So if you're taking a longer shower, you're scrolling through some memes on your phone or whatever, the fan turns off and then the bathroom turns into a swamp, I guess. So we're gonna add a humidity sensor in here as well. Now my other plan for this bathroom was to go back to what I had before where the lights would turn on with the motion sensor too. It's just that right now, if you walk into the bathroom at 2 in the morning, you get flashbanged. My fix for that was to get some dimmable bulbs since this is one of those Innovelli dimmer switches. They just didn't arrive in time. So that will be later Jake's problem. F that guy. So why don't we turn on the shower and see how it works? Like right now, the humidity is measuring at 55%. This is probably one of those situations where you have to take a shower and then take a look at the insights feature and see how the humidity levels went. And then that way you can build a flow or an automation to automatically turn the fan on, or maybe automatically make sure the fan doesn't turn off is a better way to put it. It's getting steamy in here, Andrew. Ooh, somebody needs to clean that mirror. Oh, 58%, it's going up. I'm glad this works. I was worried this thing was gonna be kind of a piece of crap. Dude, oh, this is like taking money from a baby. Why didn't I do this sooner? We can also use this fan for more than just a steamy bathroom. We can also use it to improve the air quality of my house by pairing it with this, the Air 1 from Apollo Automations. It's a very advanced smart device. It's Wi-Fi based, but has a hardwired powered connection, so we don't have to worry about that. And it can monitor a ton of air quality metrics in your home, like way more than pretty much any off-the-shelf sensor. It can do CO2, which is a big one for me. It's often overlooked. The fan? Gonna help with that. It can also monitor your PM1, PM2.5, PM4, PM10, volatile organic compounds, the nitrous pollutants, temperature, humidity. It's basically everything you could need. Check out that sensor in there. That thing's a honker. Now, supposedly you're supposed to put this in the breathing zone, somewhere you hang out. So for me, we're gonna stick it right on top of the bed frame here, maybe with some double-sided tape later, but let's just see what kind of metrics it gives us. Okay, the CO2 level in here is actually on the higher side. Interestingly, according to CO2meter.com, and between 1,000 to 2,000 parts per million is common complaints of drowsiness or poor air quality. Once you get above that, headaches, fatigue, stagnant, stuffiness, poor concentration, loss of focus, increased heart rate, nausea, all of those terrible things. So maybe I do need to run that bathroom fan some more. And now, the big blinds. I'm so stoked to be switching these to smart blinds. Honestly, the thing I've noticed with home automation out of everything is that it's like stupid shit you really shouldn't complain about, but once you've automated it, whew, just frees up parts of the brain cell for other things. Adopt them. Hey, there's that one. And there's that one. They're pretty quiet too. Like they're not the quietest thing in the universe, but they're totally reasonable. With the blinds taken care of, the last thing to deal with in the bedroom is these light bulbs. Now I already have this fixture on a smart switch, but I wanted these light bulbs to be dimmable. And it seemed like the cheapest way to do that while still having LEDs, IKEA. Bloody hell. Wow, that's really easy. They don't look quite as nice, but I really don't care, to be honest. Once we put these IKEA tread-free bulbs, which use zigbee, by the way, then we can control the brightness in here. And then it'll shut the blinds, dim the lights, and all will be well in the world. At least in my world. Pair them, since we don't have the IKEA thingy, just turn the bulbs on and off 6 times. One. One of them worked. Are you kidding me? Apparently I'm supposed to do it fast. Holy shit. There we go, yes. They're all dancing now, thank God. What else do I have to do? Now this might look like something that goes up your butt, but I promise you it's not. This is an automatic plant watering thing. It's something I've actually considered heavily in the past. Like, it would be so sick if I didn't have to water my houseplants, as my ADHD ass likes to forget. And Apollo Automations, they have built exactly that. They call it the Pump 1. You fill it with some water. There's even a sensor down there to tell you if the water is full, and it's got a little pump. So we put it next to our Monstera here. Honestly, this Monstera has been through so much. It has been left not watered enough so many times, and yet it persists. Mostly. it mostly persists. I mean, he's wow, this thing is enormous. They even have these guys, the PLT1 and PLT1B, which are sensors for the plant. So now, not only can you automatically water it, but you can also stick the sensor in the plant and have it automatically water it based on how wet it actually is. This plant is hilarious. It's tried to even break out. Like one of the roots started to go into the silicone around the windows, like it was trying to get outside. This one is a little bit different because it's an ESP home device, which if you're not familiar, it's like an open source project for managing smart home devices that run on those little ESP microcontrollers, which is like a Wi-Fi based microcontroller. You can use the ESP home community app, but since Apollo and Homey are homies, there's an Apollo automation app. And every Apollo sensor, connect. Your device is connected, it is. Hey, there we go. We'll pick plant 1. Call this one Monstera sensor. Add a new device. Again, Apollo, every Apollo sensor, connect. Oh, wait, it's just pumping back into the same bottle. Okay, that was a good idea. And now that we've got both of the devices in Homey, I'm gonna calibrate the sensor. And the way to do that is, at least right now, is by opening the dashboard for it by IP address and looking at our soil ADC while it is completely dry and out of the plant. If there's any dirt on there, if it's wet at all, you're not gonna get the right reading, so you wanna make sure it's nice and dry. And ours was showing around 2.77, 2.78. So I'll take that and put it in our dry voltage. And then we're gonna submerge it in water all the way up to, well, the cup I grabbed is a little small. If I dump some of the pump water in there, it'll be just enough. Don't spill. Ooh, 1.5 volts. Now we stick it in the plant, and it should give us a percentage readout now. Soil moisture, 28%. Sheesh, good thing we have this pump here to help us with that. For instance, let's say when moisture becomes less than percentage, I don't really know how wet this plant is supposed to be honest. And then our action is going to be for our pump, and we're gonna say, start pump, water the Monstera, dummy. Pump when input dry. Yes, we want that. Wow. Watering the plant, no longer a problem. But flows aren't just important for making your automated plant watering system work. No, they are the core of what makes a smart home potentially a little bit smart, right? Because without them, we just have devices that you can control with, I don't know, your laptop or your phone. Like that's not that smart. It might as well just be a normal light switch like we have here. And to be honest, we actually have worse than a normal light switch right now because I've got smart bulbs in there, and smart bulbs are not very smart when they're turned off. So why don't we start there? In an effort to confuse everyone, I'm not gonna use a flow here, even though we totally could. When light switch turns on, then turn bedroom ceiling lamp on. Save. There we go, look, it turned the lights on. For a lot of people, this might be good enough, but I'm kind of anal. In an effort to make this as foolproof as possible, there is actually a slightly better option, a zigbee binding. To make this easier, the first thing you want to do is take all of our 5 different zigbee bulbs and put them into a group. Add to group, there's our 5 light bulbs, and then we're gonna go to the bedroom light switch, put it into smart bulb mode so it doesn't actually turn the power off from them. And then in order for it to control those bulbs, we're gonna create our binding. So go into the bind tab, source endpoint 2, hit add. If you wanted to, you could create a binding for every single bulb, but that's why we created the group earlier, just to make it a little bit easier. We'll select our bedroom ceiling lamp group, and then for clusters, you're gonna pick on and off for the on and off control, as well as level control. Since this is a dimmer and these are dimmable smart bulbs, we'll be able to control the actual dimming with the smart switch. And since we have these bindings, if for whatever reason my NAS imploded, which took down our Homey Self Hosted Server, this switch would still turn these lights on and off. There we go, we're at minimum. You can see our light bulbs are nice and dim now. And we'll bring them back up. Wow. You can also do a bunch of cool stuff in Innovelli's firmware for these light switches. You can like double tap to bring it down to minimum brightness, or double tap to activate a different light in the room if you have multiple sets of smart lights. Heck, I could set it to double tap to close the blinds. Huh. But in my view, for this house to be smart, I want to be touching a physical light switch as little as possible. So why don't we make some flows? How about we start with something basic, like the newly installed smart blinds? For these, I made an automation that just opens them at 9 a.m. and closes them at 10 p.m. Building automations for your house, you kind of just need to try something and see how it works, because you might end up just completely hating whatever automation you've put in. Like, what if it's the weekend and I went out to the pub and I'm sleeping in until 11. Well, oops, I forgot my automation opens the blinds at 9 a.m. But for now, I think this is probably good enough for the blinds. However, since this is going to be a little bit more complicated, we're not going to use a normal flow. No. We're going to be using an advanced flow. Ooh, spicy. And to make one, we'll need to open Homey in their fully featured browser app rather than on your phone, because despite that these work in a very similar manner, you've got your when, your end, and your then, it's a block-based editor, so you have a ton more flexibility when it comes to organizing how all of those pieces interact with each other. For example, with our bathroom, I've got the humidity sensor here, and the trigger I'm using is the humidity changed. We can take that, stick it into this logic and block, and say the humidity number right there is greater than 50%. Then I want you to turn the fan on. But if the humidity changes and the humidity isn't greater than 50, we can set the false condition to turn the fan off. And that's a really simple way to make the bathroom fan turn on when the humidity is high. But how do we work the motion sensor into this? Well, I've got the motion sensor here, the occupancy alarm turned on. We'll just stick that right into turning the fan on. There we go. But we don't want it to just stay on forever, right? If the occupancy alarm turns off for, let's say, a few minutes, say if somebody drops a real stinker in there, so let's say maybe 5 minutes. But that actually might cause the fan to turn off while you're in the shower, say, if that motion sensor loses you. So instead, we can loop that into our logic again and say, go based off the humidity. If it's still greater than 50, leave the fan on. And if it's not greater than 50, okay, well then you can turn it off. And there we have our two inputs feeding in to controlling this switch, and you shouldn't end up in a condition where it's off when you expect it to stay on. So it's a developing thing, but we'll get there. It's just that you don't always want your lights to be automated. Sometimes, hey computer, turn off the bedroom light switch. You want to have manual control. And until Neuralink becomes a thing and you can just brainwave control your house, the next best thing is voice control. And I currently use Amazon's thing. I'm not going to say the name. It works okay, but they recently launched this like plus version, and almost every time I prompt it, it's like, oh, have you heard about Schmalexa Plus? Shut up! Don't care.
Oh, it's stupid. I hate it.
So in the future, I'm going to be trying to build my own home voice control system. And if you're interested in that, get subscribed so you don't miss it, because I think it's going to be super interesting. I think it's better than the existing solutions because you can just talk to it in plain language. You can be like, yo dog, it's cold in here. And it'll be like, oh, that means I need to turn the temperature up. It's very cool. But in the meantime, we do want to be able to use our friend Daddy Bezos to control it. So I went ahead and set up the Homey skill within my voice assistant's app. And now I can see the devices in here. We got the master bathroom fan, the light, but those advanced flows are pretty basic. This is a little bit more complicated. I've got this Apollo M1 LED matrix display that runs WLED, which is like an open source LED controller software. And here is an automation I made to check the sub count of my YouTube channel and display it on this screen. Arlo, listen, buddy, come here. This matrix is really not ideal for this setup. If it loses power, it defaults back to whatever the default is. So every 10 seconds, we have to check with this device, is it showing the text preset? And if it is, update the subscriber count. If it isn't, set it to the text scrolling preset and then update the subscriber count. And you can make it even more complicated if you want. There's the whole Homey script side of things, which I haven't even gotten into, where you can write basically just JavaScript and then put it in your automations as code blocks to whatever you want, basically. It's pretty cool and definitely more intuitive than the Home Assistant automations, which I'm used to. And I guess that leaves us there. My house is now at least a little bit smarter, and it's thanks to Homey who sponsored this video. If you're interested in the Homey Self Hosted Server, please check it out at the link down in the description, where you can start a free 30-day trial with no credit card required. And if you love it, you can pick up a lifetime license so you can avoid any pesky monthly subscriptions while still integrating with your favorite voice control system. And also thanks to Apollo Automations, Innovelli Smart Wings. Links will be down in the description. Thanks for watching. See you later. What are you doing? Can I help you? He's looking at those antennas like I could give those a whack. Is he not the derpiest cat ever?